So for DFS purposes, man, is this easier or harder than that Browns game? Because that was a mess. I mean,
Um,
it was just a
yeah.
mess.
Well, I think that we didn't put enough credit on Dernish Johnson. That we were just, I think
Oh, well,
we
we
just,
definitely did. Yeah,
I mean, obviously we didn't, but like it's for two of us who like the running backs and like to feature them in our captain spot, we particularly should have highlighted that a little bit more. But it is what it
correct.
is. We'll get them.
So
We'll get the Millie Maker this time.
the Millie Maker chopped a ton of ways because it was
Yeah.
the winning score got $8,600. So divide $1 million by 8,600. Dearness Johnson was the winning captain, and actually no defenses were optimal in that game. I didn't play in the Millie Maker Sunday night or last night because I was just late to it, but I did okay in one contest. I had Deebo Samuel as a captain, Carson Wentz, Michael Pittman, Elijah Mitchell. Colts defense actually ended up being required for the optimal and nearly almost won it for somebody because of if Xavier Rhodes had taken it back to the house. And I kind of think it's important to look at Sunday nights as a sort of similar setup, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you have two limited quarterbacks or quarterbacks that their coaches probably want to limit if possible in Wentz and Garoppolo and now Geno and Jameis. You have sloppy weather, and I guess I'm wondering. All right, so what do you think for captain options? Obviously, Alvin Kamara stands out in a big way. He is 19-2 as a captain. If you go with Kamara, you will be less apt to jam in Jameis, who's 11-8. Excuse me, that's his flex cost. Let me see what his captain cost is. His captain cost Jameis 17-7, DK 15, Geno 14-1, Tyler Lockett 13-5, Marquez Callaway 12-9. Michael Thomas isn't going to play. Alex Collins 11-1 with a questionable tag, and then that's it for anybody in five figures. You get to those backup quarterbacks, and before you get down to Saints defense next available at 8-7 for captain DJ Dallas, and on into the secondary skill guys. So what I mean, it's pretty hard to, you look at Kamara. I mean, he's going to be the in theory the most impactful offensive guy in this game.
If we're talking about somebody who's going to get the most touches in the game that's not a quarterback, and honestly, it's going to be Alvin Kamara by a pretty wide margin.
Yes.
It's not going to be close. The only thing that's interesting about all of this in terms of constructing these lineups right now is the X factors of Alex Collins and Penny, and what does that do? Because if we're making lineups now where Collins isn't playing or he's not going to be a factor, and I don't know, does Rashad Penny not get activated or what happens? DJ Dallas becomes somebody that I find very interesting. 5 targets last week, caught all 5 of them. He's a little too, he's priced a little weird. Like he's not like someone who's, so, you're going to be stashing, he's going to be super cheap or anything like that.
$200 for a flex spot. That's expensive for a guy who could be a third running back or only involved in the passing game.
So you have to, obviously pay attention to that one as you're getting closer and adjust accordingly. And the other things that we should point out here too, obviously, don't try to be cute and get the $200 for Chris Hogan. He retired. He's not, he is not a member of the NFL anymore. So don't do that. Don't try to be cute, especially these people up in New England. They go, oh, you know what? I'll get the former Pat. I'll get the former Pat. He was great for Belichick. And then they throw him in and they go like, oh, why is
Hogan's actually priced up at $400 and he's he's not listed with an item next to his name, so that's kind of interesting. That's good.
So just be wary of that. Don't do that. To me, I like Geno Smith as my captain probably the most because you can get a little bit more flexibility with the rest of your roster.
Geno in that captain spot on the DK page too, because I Kamara again 19-2 is just like
it's just a huge number.
It's a huge number.
It's just a huge number. So to me, and if you were listening obviously to the podcast version of this as well, you know that I like the Saints in this game to win and cover. So I'm looking at Geno Smith as my captain, playing from behind, throwing around a little bit more. So I would throw Tyler Lockett in there. And this is where I like DJ Dallas to say, all right, if these guys aren't playing, who's he been throwing to out of the backfield? It's been DJ Dallas. So to me, that's the only other reason why I would like him in there. Again, obviously that changes if things, if
So
Collins is in and all that.
Rashad Penny is really the X factor in all
Yeah,
this.
of course.
Because even against a bad, because he and Alex Collins, of course, like they're going to affect Rashad Penny's activation, both off the IR and for this game, and Alex Collins being active as well because he's questionable, affect every single Seattle running back. Because it's going to change the snap counts, it's going to change the number of carries, and Penny at $2,600 as a flex option, and then he's a very cheap captain option too. As how am I have my freaking Browns game open somehow? He has where is the stinking thing? There it is. His captain price is what, 3.9. So if you go, all right, let's finish that lineup that Sully was talking about.
And so like basically what I was saying with
up there.
It's all right. It's so, if you could switch out, like let's just say we find out about Penny. You can swap these guys out too. It's not like you have to reconstruct your entire roster. You can still have this general game plan to go for it. So to me, it would be those three: Captain Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, DJ Dallas again if he plays, and then I'm throwing in both defenses. I'm throwing in both just because I think this is going to be a low sum run with the under. Obviously, I like New Orleans just, in general because they're a top-ranked defense. And if Seattle looks anything like what we saw last week again, I just really like how they put themselves together. And then the final spot there could go to Alvin Kamara. So you're kind of filled in quite nicely with top-tier talent, but also you're getting a lot of, that is a game. That is a game script that trends Saints in the under, which is what I like. So that's why I'm going with that.
Yeah, and to the point about the under or the defenses, I would say this. Last night, at least in the again, I didn't play in the Millie Maker, so I haven't seen the numbers because you can't access it from my phone without having been in the contest. But in the contest I was in, which was several thousand people, I think, it was 20% owned, north of 20% owned for both defenses. In other words, when it's a monsoon game like this, you will see people go to defenses. Maybe it's less because last night both were not in the optimal lineup, but I would point out the Colts got there in the optimal, and the 49ers probably should have gotten there. Like they had a lot of opportunities for interceptions off Carson Wentz, and several they could have taken to the house. So you could certainly see with Geno and Jameis, both these defenses get in the optimal. The one issue is, when you look at the defensive scoring on DraftKings, and you start to see. Let's see, I'm trying to think how many people were in this stinking contest. Yeah, so a couple thousand people. You start to see it, right? The Colts allowed 14 to 20 points. You get 1 point for that. The Colts scored 11 points. 10 of those points were off 2 sacks, 1 point each, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries, which is 2 points each. So you're getting there via turnovers and sacks. I don't think you want to try to project, so the 49ers scored 4 points, right? They allowed 28 to 34 points. That's -1. You can go negative with a defense in a heartbeat. They got 4 through fumble recoveries, and they got 5 through fumble recoveries and sacks. So if you think a defense is going to get you there, don't bank on it just being 0-0, because 2 touchdowns, it's 14-13 final, still is, not going to guarantee you a bunch of points from the defenses because of that. So, defenses are nice out of the gate, but you need to be projecting turnovers if you want to hope the defenses gets you there.
Yeah, and that's basically kind of how I look at it from Jameis Winston. That probably helps the Seattle defense a little bit. Yeah. And when you're talking about New Orleans, it's just, again, a top flight defense. You're going up against a backup quarterback. He's been efficient, but he's also had some turnovers as well. So it's not like it's totally out of the realm of possibility there. So, totally agree that there's, obviously risk when you're starting to throw in these defenses. Could be a little chalky, but I think the one thing that might be able to separate us is that final spot there. We have some flexibility at the running back spot, whether it's DJ Dallas, Penny, or whoever you want to throw in there. I mean, I'm sure you could throw in a tight end, Gerald Everett, if you're feeling it, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and the other thing on the defenses too, there's almost a guaranteed chance that the Saints defense is significantly more owned than the Seahawks defense because the Saints rate well. They're going up against Geno Smith. I think you'll see them using the captain spot, somewhere between 5 and 10%. You will see the Saints probably in the 25 to 30% range. They are more expensive, but if you go, I'm pretty sure you can jam in one of the quarterbacks. Let's say you can go Jameis You add Kamara, you throw in Geno. Can you then get Saints defense and still get you got like 2,100 to spend on these other guys? So you can guess on like a Freddie Swaim and a Kenny Stills or a Adam Troutman or whatever. You can jam in two cheaper end guys along with those higher end guys. And if you even wanted, of course, you could bail out on Geno and go to Alex Collins, right? And it leaves you plenty of money. If you wanted to, the Saints defense is not prohibitive to get to. They're going to be chalky in this thing. They are a good defense, but just be aware that if they don't create turnovers or get sacks, then they might not pay off. And I think with the weather, people will go to defenses. Seattle is an interesting contrarian play in the sense that, they're probably going to be around 10 to 15% owned or rostered in this format. And if they were to get a pick six and you had them on your roster, it shoots way up.
And the other thing I want to bring up with New Orleans quickly is, we talk a lot about the running back situation with Seattle. Pay attention to what's going on with Traquan Smith. If he gets activated, $4,800 for a flex spot, it's not terrible for someone who could be heavily involved in this. I mean, we talk a lot about Marquez Callaway kind of finding that, but if Traquan Smith can come in here, he's had some success into this offense. So to me, that's someone to just pay attention to as you get closer, because like you noted, Will, people right now, they see an IR designation next to his name.
Nobody's clicking that.
No one's touching him. No one's touching that at all.
And look, I don't do this just because, but I have the freedom for, work purposes to kind of, build these at my leisure. A lot of times but what happens is I don't do them during the day when I should be doing them because my family's gone. And then I'm like, hiding up in my office, banging out lineups from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. The point being is that, I think we're not going to go to around 5 o'clock and then the inactive shortly before about Traquan Smith, about Rashad Penny. Those two guys, though, with the IR spot, likely to be less owned and less clicked. I like the idea of going, assuming he's activated, assuming he plays, Rashad Penny is captain, actually. Because if you do that, $3,900 captain, we know the Seahawks are going to run. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Chris is scrolling up to find him. He's dirt cheap. Rashad Penny is captain. Take out Traquan for right now because I think, look, if I go with a $3,900 captain, I'm immediately adding Alvin Kamara.
Right.
Because it is, if your captain is that cheap, and if you hit on that captain, I think it's pretty likely that he'll be in the optimal as well. The tricky part now is once you go with Rashad Penny, do you just start banging in all the expensive guys?
I think you absolutely just start to, pile up what you can, obviously, just because, yes, you can start to get cute a little bit, with defenses and whatever whatever you want, but ultimately you're getting cute with your captain. Like you're all of your money.
Yeah,
really
you don't have to be cute across the board. Right. Exactly.
Right. So, you can get a little contrarian, I guess, but you're already contrarian at the top.
And I think a kicker was actually in the optimal, might have been in the optimal last night. I have to look, but I don't hate the idea of, here we go. This is a 4-2, so it's not exactly a slaughter lineup build. But if you go Penny, Kamara, I'm going to hesitantly go Jameis. I can't tell if something's beeping in my ear, or beeping outside of my house.
No, it's over. There's a big truck outside my house naturally backing up.
Oh, it's you. Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, is there
I hear there's a big construction trucks doing work, and of course they're backing up right when we're doing this.
I do think this. I have a hard time getting away from the Saints in DFS. Yeah. The Saints have scored over the court. Go and add Saints defense in there. 15-6. They scored 15 points against the Packers. 6 against the Panthers in that blowout, 20 against the Patriots in week 3, just 2 against the Giants, and then 6 points last week. They have an interception in every single game this season. They've only failed to record 2 sacks or more once in this season. I think they have a defensive touchdown at one point this year, and I don't see fumbles on there. They're a defense that can generate points. So in this scenario, I think I want to go with that. This is not a very good game script situation because it's the Seahawks, we saw it on that the Sunday night game against the Steelers. They're down 14-0. You think, all right, it's time to start tossing. Geno's got to have to start slinging the ball, and it's not. They just ran the ball at Alex Collins coming out of half. And then I also went with Traquan Smith, and the final pick in this particular lineup was DK.
Okay.
We had enough left over for. There's a clear correlation, or I think Cody
That
Manning.
might be good for our Costanza lineup. Like this is kind of like
It's
this
just a weird
contrarian.
lineup, I
Yeah,
think.
this is the weird lineup. I like it.
Yeah. With DK and Lockett, the fancy graphs and math have shown that basically on the showdown slates, one of them is optimal and one of them is going to sink you. So they do not have a positive correlation when playing together in lineups. Now that is perhaps a Russell Wilson factor, but probably more a play calling factor. So it has not been optimal in years past to roster both DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now, if you think that this is a full blown Geno swarm, and you want to go Geno, you could do that in theory, and it's just like Geno or Seahawks onslaught. You probably want to use both guys, I guess, but or maybe it's Rashad Penny, Alex Collins. Should we do it? Should we do a Seahawks onslaught?
Let's do it, man. Let's see it.
Because the Saints have been thrashed by a bad team in the Carolina Panthers in week 2. If it is, all right, let's try this. Let's see. Let's go to captain. Click on that captain button, and then we'll be done with this. Devo's going to be like, you went an hour on Geno and Jameis. If it's a Seahawks onslaught, do we believe that the one player for the Saints? So we're going to do a 5-1, which is not. This is not going to be a popular option. You will be, if the Seahawks somehow like blow out the Saints, and you have a 5-1 Seahawks lineup, you will be feeling pretty good about your life. I think our one player for the Saints probably needs to be Kamara or Jameis. And the question is, do we put Kamara in the captain spot if we do that, and can we afford to do it? Let's at least try.
Let's see if we can
in this scenario, we need, I think, Sully, that we would want to do both running backs. Let's just assume they both play Collins and Rashad Penny, because I think if the Seahawks get a lead, they are going to lean into this running game. And we don't know exactly how they're going to spread it out, but because you can get both of those guys for under $10,000 combined, and they'll be rostered a lot. But anyway, if we're doing the Seahawks onslaught, I think we need to do that. I also think you have to have Geno, right?
Yep.
Geno, a receiver in Seahawks defense. Can we afford that?
Let's see. So you can, no, you could.
Can we get DK in there or no?
No, and you just miss out on Seahawks defense too if you put in Lockett.
Okay. So, I mean, I think we need one of those receivers though. So we put in DK, and that leaves us 1,400. All right, let's see what we got left down there at the flex for 1,400 or less. Scroll up and see if there should be some options. Oh, good job. Ew. Zigba, is he gonna? He's at New Orleans. All right, here, let's try. Chris, let's try this. Exit Kamara on the captain. And let's do, we think Geno or Kyle. Who do you want to pick?
I think let's see what Geno looks like in the captain.
All right, let's put Geno in the captain. You have to click back. Oh, yeah. Just tell about somebody who's getting used to operating this DraftKings desktop app. Okay, so yeah, Geno captain, and then Kamara. And that leaves us 3,100, which may be enough for Seahawks defense. Let's scroll down and see. Or scroll up and see. It's probably right in the middle. Seahawks defense, 2,800. That's our weirdo lineup, right?
I don't hate it.
Look at that ugly lineup.
Get weird with it.
We need to go ahead and I'm going to put this in. And maybe you should put it in too now.
All right.
Because if it hits, you better believe you want to be chopping it too. Like you don't want to see me sending a screenshot of this horrendous lineup and be like, "Hey, Sully, check it out." Wait a minute, why I don't see your username in here, Sully.
Yeah, Sully. I got my flight booked out to the island in the morning when you come out.
I'm just gonna go downstairs and drink some.
It's like Daryl in The Office when the whole warehouse won the lottery.
That's right. Exactly.
He was using his birthday.
Yeah, and there's $300 left on the table, so not a ton, but I think. And look, if you trail us on this lineup, one, you have to send 10% of your winnings to us,
naturally.
But two, obviously check Penny and Alex Collins status as we get closer to game time. Don't forget about that. I'm putting it in now. Okay, so that's our weirdo lineup. That's an hour on Seahawks. Seahawks and Saints on Monday Night Football with Gino and Jameis. For Sully and Brinson. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. See you Thursday, Sully.